Welcome back to the Northern Steel Podcast, episode 62 after that famous Steeler player, Jeffrey McBigums. We are here after a Week 9 victory over the Tennessee Titans. If you happen to miss that game because you're too busy working like some loser, who would do that? I would do that. Then we got the highlights just for you. First drive for the Steelers, and dear God, are they driving? A deep catch by DJ moves the chains, and they have not scored a touchdown on their first series since week 15 of last year, but now with Canada on the sidelines, suddenly anything is possible. They cap off this drive with a 10-yard touchdown run by Najee Harris, who runs through the gaping hole wider than your mother, and the Steelers are up 7-0 right away. I don't know what Chuk said to get benched, but glad he did, because Broderick Jones being in the lineup definitely helps the running game tonight. However, the Titans easily drove down the field, a common theme for this game, and found themselves in the red zone, but when Watt's coming after you, all you can do is cheat. But even that's not enough, as a helmetless TJ sacks Will Levis and lets out a primordial scream heard across time and space. This will set the Titans for a field goal. You would think the highlights would want to show some more plays, maybe, but instead they show the entire setup for this kick. But whatever you need to hit that 5-minute mark, NFL, the Titans field goal is good, and they're up. The score is 7-3 Steelers.
Steelers now trying to stop the Titans offense on 3rd and long, bringing pressure once again, but the defensive schematics were simply not good enough as some Walmart employee gets wide open down the field for an extremely easy first down pickup. Then, the tow truck himself, Derrick Henry, finds a wide open lane, but miraculously gets brought down by the David to his Goliath, DeMonte KZ, after picking up the first down. Titans keep the ball rolling as King Henry dives into the end zone for 6 and attempts to break the world record hold for plank. I believe it's 9 hours, maybe 9.5 hours. My God, the pure strength of this man is uncanny. Steelers trying to answer back. Jaylen Warren does exactly that and rips off a huge run up the middle of the field, making a statement and starting this drive off strong. And wouldn't you know it, he does it again. Unbelievable drive by Warren, bringing a run game back to the city of Pittsburgh. But I guess a run game is only as good as the blockers you have, as Najee gets met 4,000 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and the Steelers must settle for a field goal. Boswell gets the kick, tie ball game, 10-10.
The Titans will now have the ball, and Levis is spreading the mayo around. He can't be stopped, and the NFL is on notice. He just keeps finding the open holes. This must be why him and his girl broke up. You know, the hottie from the draft. Because Levis can't be contained, spreading his ball around to so many open receivers. Not one receiver can tie this man down, and the legend of Will Levis is too great for you, ex-girlfriend with no name. Call me. That puts them in position for a field goal before half, putting the Titans up 13-10 right as the time hits 0. But you know what I love? Field goal highlights. Let's do one more and show Boswell kicking one through to tie it up the score, now 13-13. Did I say one more? Nah, heck, let's see another. As the Titans are back at field goal range again to make the score 16-13. Titans on top for now.
3rd and 1, and the Steelers need to keep this drive alive. Cue a little bit of Matt Canada trickery. Instead of rushing our 6'8", 285-pound running back in Harris, we pull off the end around to our muscle hamster, and my God, it works. Oh wait, I also forgot, it's the 4th quarter. Cue 4th quarter Kenny as he drops a dime to Deontay Johnson to pick up 38 yards. What an absolutely beautiful throw and catch. And wouldn't you know it, I'm starting to think this entire highlight reel is all Jaylen Warren as he bounces off the defender, uses his whittle bitty legs, speeding past defenders, and almost gets the touchdown, nearly capitalizing his extremely stellar night. But it sets up something truly special as Kenny finds Deontay Johnson in the end zone, giving him his first touchdown in over 600 plus days. Remarkable. And yes, we are happy for you, DJ. All of us. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch.
4th and 7, game on the line, and JPJ makes a great play to end the game. But wait, there's a flag? Surely the crew that has thrown the most flags this year isn't throwing a weak flag now in the most crucial part of the game. But of course they are, because that's what the NFL is now, and we'll never stop watching, so they have all the power. Anyways, with 6 seconds left, needing a touchdown, Will Levis throws it to the end zone, and it's picked off by Quan Alexander. Will Levis was better than Kenny tonight, but there's one thing Kenny can do better, and that's clutch it up in the 4th. Steelers win on a mundane but par for the course Thursday night game. Let me say a couple things before we talk about the game. One, I think the NFL highlights is drunk because there's a lot of mistakes in that. There's also they just showed field goals. And one thing I thought was ridiculous, because there's more good plays than that. I know they showed the Titans field goal before half, and they just cut right to ours. They showed, 4 or 5 different great Jalen Warren runs? You're not going to show Najee's nice 20-yard plus run?
Najee had really nice plays that entire
he had a long
game.
run right after the half.
Yeah.
They didn't show that at all. Not once.
I mean, obviously, the NFL tries to paint a narrative every single week. We know that. It is scripted. And plus, they're just trying to give what every other Steeler fan who doesn't watch football wants, and that's to give Jalen Warren primary carries and Najee Harris to not be on the team any longer.
So let's talk about some of the things from this game, right? Just things off the top of my head. Cole Holcomb got hurt in this game, unfortunately, and knee
Sucks.
exploded, out for the season. Really sucks because our linebacker play has been really good, and it's been nice to balance the 3 linebacker plays across the board. Now Mark Robinson's going to get a hat. Well, I heard the practice squad linebacker is going to get some potential playing time, maybe not this week, but they're going to see how he can do because he's got 20 games starting experience. Chris and I saw that Anthony Barr is out there. Wouldn't mind taking a look at him, but we know how Steelers work. They want to get crushed or get embarrassed on the field first before they look elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes, but that was unfortunate. Let's talk about something good. There's 56 yards rushing as a team total.
Yeah.
Some about that. 160, let's say, roughly. That's great. Broderick Jones started over Chooks Okorafor because Chooks said something during the Jags game. I don't know what he said. I was going to make a joke, but I don't want people to take it seriously, what he said. I have no idea what he said, but he got benched, and apparently it was very significant. That's what Tillman said. So Broderick Jones is the starter right now, and it looks like he will be. He played really good at right tackle, even though he's a left tackle. But apparently Dan Moore sucks so bad at right tackle that that's the option we can do. So Broderick Jones played against the Titans. They looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. Running game looked really nice, and now he's going to be straight forward. And now the last thing, as I know a lot of people talked about, this could be the breakout game for Kenny. It wasn't. It could have been. And I think that's what's frustrating with Kenny. I'm not losing hope, but I'm getting very frustrated with Kenny. I'm losing confidence that maybe he is the guy, because we talked about the Titans defense isn't very good, and besides Pickens not dragging his foot, or let's say you want to count Pickens should have dragged his foot, he could have had 4 touchdowns. Kenny could have had if Pickens drags his foot. He missed a deep shot to Calvin Austin. He threw a slow slant in the end zone to Allen Robinson when he should have thrown it on target, or thrown it to Connor Hayward, who was more open in the middle. He could have had 4 touchdowns this game if he just threw the ball more accurately and just made better decisions. Missed Pickens on a low crossing route that was like 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. He just didn't play very good. Now, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, you could say his ribs. Hurt his ribs against the Jags, played 4 days later. I feel like that's why especially in the second half, he threw like 1-yard passes the entire game besides the last drive when they needed to move the ball down the field. But his decision-making right now is just not great. The pass to Deontay Johnson deep in the fourth quarter on the game-winning drive on 3rd and 6, hit him on the sideline, threw some touch, great play, right? We can all say it's a great play. Deontay made the catch, great play. If you look at the replay, was that the best place to go? I'm going to have to argue no. Even though the pass was completed and they got farther down the field than they would have done on this, George Pickens was underneath on a drag route again. wide open, would have got the first down easily. That was the smarter decision. Because we've seen him throw those balls to Deontay and those not get completed. That was a 3rd and 6. That was a big ballsy play. And it got completed, which is great. But I don't know if those were the right decisions. So right now it's frustrating with Kenny in a lot of aspects, but you could chalk it up to him being hurt or whatever. But I think the whole offense as a whole played better with Canada on the sideline. I think he called a better game. They just needed to execute better. So hopefully they can do that moving forward. I know I took a lot of points, Chris. Do you have anything else to add from the Titans game? I know I took pretty much most of them. I just want to get them out there.
That's okay. I kind of thought you were going to go like one, talk about it, one, talk about it. And I was like, yeah, oh, yep, no, oh, yep.
Yeah, I know, sorry.
No, you're good. Just kind of piggybacking off on that a little bit. My gosh, my mic decided now to start picking up every noise loudly.
Love that.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that? Sorry about that. But no, just piggybacking a little bit on Kenny Pickett. I said this too, and you brought up the ribs a little bit shortly. It seemed noticeable to me, especially with a couple of throws that he made. There's one that was supposed to be a crossing route to George Pickens that was just purely overthrown and just horrible. And it's like we've seen Kenny not have the best accuracy before, but I've never seen anything be that atrociously off target. So to me, it just kind of seemed like maybe he was battling a little bit of an injury here and there. Hopefully, as this week progressed, he's able to get it a little more under check and whatever. I never really saw him being that bad at throwing passes. We've seen inaccuracies, but like that was almost just like, who are you looking at? There's no right. There's no receiver deeper down the field that you were trying to throw to by the looks of that throw. So I'm almost curious if the ribs were contributing a little bit more to how he played. And then I don't know, I just struggle. I think it's easy to look at a player when they're not making throws and to say, this is the better choice. I think it truly takes, it's harder to look at plays that were successful, but then to be like, oh, hey, maybe not the best play that you could have done.
Yeah, it's that critique is very nitpicky by myself because it was a completed play and it was a big play. It got a I don't think the pass to George Pickens would have got them as far down the field. So it was a good play. I guess the reason I'm nitpicking it personally is because I've seen him not make those throws or Deontay not catch that ball because the coverage was tight. So I've seen that play not work out a lot. Mm-hmm. So with the game on the line on 3rd and 6, like I said, big cojones to throw that ball there. I just don't think that was like the best place to throw it. Luckily, it was successful. So who cares, right? No one's talking about it. I think if they would have dropped that play, that would have been on everyone's all 22 Twitter. Everybody's all 22 because no one talks about that play. Everyone's like, "What a good play." They move on.
Yeah, they're like, "Wow."
If that would have been dropped, that would have been on everyone's all 22 play on Twitter, and everyone would have been looking at it and circling George Pickens on the bottom. Everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That's it's good to be nitpicky on things. I mean, like obviously, and I hope Kenny sees that where he's like, "Hey, this is a throw that it was really good and a good catch and everything, but at the same time, like there were other options that were maybe more safe." Which like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get frustrated watching the Steelers offense because we play a little too safe, all the time. Which like I don't know. It kind of seems to be our forte to be late in the game on a 3rd and long and be like, "F it, let's just chuck it deep."
I know.
I don't know why.
It feels like that's why he does so well in the 4th quarter because he just like doesn't care anymore and he's trying to score. And he has like more confidence, or he has more, maybe not confidence, but like aggressiveness to throw the ball down the field. And I think that's kind of what we want. I know it's great that he keeps winning games in the 4th quarter. I know it's great that his pass rating is freaking like 30 points higher than it is in the first 3 quarters, what it is in the 4th. But it'd just be nice to see him play with that aggressiveness all game. There's nothing wrong with scoring a lot of points, you guys. There's nothing wrong with treating each drive. And I'm sure Kenny knows this. This isn't directed towards Kenny. I'm sure he wants to score all the time, too. But there's nothing wrong with trying to score every single drive you have and try to put up like 40 points all the time.
No.
Of course, it's not going to happen, but you should try for that.
I will say a big point that comes across to my mind for this last game is this is the first time I've seen the Steelers actually have sustainable drives throughout the game. Which maybe that is because Canada is now on the sidelines and is, I don't know, being more of a presence there, which is huge. Maybe that can translate now instead of just like having like substantial drives to also working directly with players and improving them. I'm not saying I believe in Canada to improve our players because I simply don't. But I mean, who knows? Maybe like that was the first game difference is having sustainable drives. Now maybe let's see if we can get Kenny to like have 2 quarters that he's like better at. No, like work a little bit. We've already seen an improvement in our running game, and it is a big time improvement last week, which is huge. Right. And like we said on the highlights, don't know why it was all Jaylen Warren. He was fantastic in that game. Najee Harris did wonderful for everyone that actually watched that game and got to see him run. It's amazing what that guy can do when he's not met behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's nice to have 2 good running backs, people. We don't need to have just one. We can have 2.
And this is exactly what we talked about at the beginning of the year. Something that I said as like a comparison that won't happen this year. Hopefully some point it will. But like not Jonathan Taylor. Why can't I think of it? D'Angelo Williams and
Le'Veon?
No, the Panthers.
Jonathan
Stewart.
Yeah.
Like that was a dynamic duo of running backs. And I said that on an earlier podcast of what I feel like Najee and Jaylen can be. And I still think they can be, maybe just working their way up to it because their stats is exactly what I wanted to see through the entirety of this year. And maybe it'll end that way. Who knows? But only time will tell.
Didn't we look up one time about like, because I think they were the last running back duo to both have 1,000 rushing yards, and it doesn't happen very often. Isn't that
no, there's like
out?
5.
Yeah. There was I guess other things for well, just one more last note on the Kenny thing. I think what's frustrating about Kenny this past game is because it really feels like Canada the last 2 games. Now he doesn't get a pass, right? It really feels like Canada's called good games the past two games. So now you got to be fair. You have to be logical. And now you can't blame Canada for this past game for them not scoring points. I think the plays were there. Offense didn't execute, and that's mostly on Kenny. And he's just not. I think we have too many weapons to be as unsuccessful as we are. And he's just not hitting guys. George Pickens was very frustrated and upset. Yeah. And I heard he was frustrated with Kenny, which I don't blame him. That was a non-issue story. Or, I mean, we need to try to make it a story, but non-issue story about Pickens' frustrations. People are talking about Calvin Austin sucks as a wide receiver 3 because he can't beat out Allen Robinson. And it's like, well, we don't utilize him. If his routes are middle of the field, we don't throw that way. He could have had another touchdown this past game, and people would people still be talking that way if Kenny would have threw that on target with the lead on him? He could have had another big touchdown this past game. Calvin could have. To me, it's not really like people are always saying like we need a wide receiver for next year. I don't know if we do. I mean, sure, we can get one. Allen Robinson's gonna be old. There's nothing wrong with getting another wide receiver, but it's like people are talking about weapons and weapons. I was like, we have weapons. We're not utilizing them. Darnell Washington, he's got 2 catches this year. Freiermuth probably has like 3.
I was going to say we have tight ends. I wouldn't just like, yes, I agree. Darnell Washington needs to get more, but like we have tight ends who just don't get used. Connor Hayward gets used, but I think that's because they're like, heck, I know we had you as a fullback tight end like hybrid, but maybe you're just like a tight end wide receiver hybrid now, and you're just playing more of the wideout role.
No, I don't know. So it kind of is what it is. That's been potentially frustrating. And, but regardless, sorry, kind of thinking on my feet right now. Regardless, they won the game. They move on to 5-3. Now they play the Packers at home. Block numbers they're wearing. There's a big announcement. That was the big announcement. It wasn't really that big of an announcement, but I do like block numbers. Hope they paint the end zones yellow. But regardless, now they play the Packers. So can they get this to me is another game where they need to win, and I know we talk about this in the past with the Steelers. They'll lose to games that they're supposed to. They lose games they're supposed to win, and they win games that they're not supposed to. I think that was the Steelers with Big Ben. I don't think that's the Steelers now. I think if you need to keep up and you actually want to make the playoffs this year and not just strive for 9-8, you need to win these games that you're going to win, because we got some tough games coming up. After Green Bay, we have 2 games in Ohio that are going to be really tough. I'm going to pick us to beat the Browns because after the Browns, but we could lose that game because the Browns played really good at home, and then we play a red hot Bengals team in Cincinnati the week after. Those could be 2 losses back to back. So you need to win the games you can win to get ahead. Now, of course, we've talked about this too. You can't lose to every single good team on your schedule, because when it comes to playoff time, how are you supposed to compete? So you do have to find a way to sneak out some wins against those teams. But regardless, you need to win these games you're supposed to win. So Packers coming to town, playing against Jordan Love. I'm sure we have some classic, repeated ways to win this game in a segment that Chris likes to call
Keys to the Game.
All right, for the keys to the game, what could those keys possibly be, Chris?
So looking at here first, I know that both of these teams are excellent. It is going to be it is going to be an absolute shootout. But if there's one thing to know, it would be Packers injury. They have a slew of players on their injury report. Just quickly glancing, it looks like they have 9 who did. Most of them were not participating, if not limited participants. Some big names like Jair Alexander, Quay Walker are just a couple of them. So something to keep a lookout. They might be playing some guys who are not quite as healthy. I do think this is a big game, and you and I talked about this before, but for the ever so frustrated George Pickens. With DJ being back, and this is something I thought was going to happen before, it should open up the field to George to getting a lot more targets and everything. When in fact, it's just been DJ. How can you not throw to DJ? The dude gets open better than anybody else.
Yeah.
However, with him being the number 1 wideout, I fully anticipate Jair to be right on Deontay Johnson the whole time, and leaving George Pickens to the second cornerback. So I think a big key to the game is getting George Pickens the ball. We have all seen what he can do with the ball in his hands, even in open field. How he ever scored that touchdown against the Jaguars, I still don't know. I watched that play a billion times and I'm like, how? But he is a big key to the game. Continuing this duo running back situation is another big key to the game. Obviously, I think when we talk about keys to the game, especially when it comes to the Pittsburgh, we already know our defense has to show up and show out. So let's just make it all about offense, because having this established run game, I think, was so helpful and helped extend drives, help, keep our defense, off the field and everything. And that's so important. And plus, giving each other rest. Jaylen Warren did a great job. Najee Harris did a great job. If we can keep opening up these lanes, giving them the ability to run the ball and run at their strengths, I think that's only going to be troublesome for the Packers. And finally, that might be all I really have. Put Canada on the field again. If that's a key to the game, then so be it. I think having his presence down there actually helped. I mean, maybe it's a coincidence that it was our first game that we had extended drives and everything, but let's see how it goes again and see if we can do something about this matchup with the Packers.
So to go more in depth with what you said, I know I think I saw some stats. The Packers defense plays a lot like us. They give up a lot of yards, but they don't let up a lot of points. Kind of the same way we do it. With Jair Alexander, yes, you'd like to think that he would cover our number 1 guy, but because he's a tall cornerback, I feel like he matches up well against George Pickens.
Maybe
so. To me, I think it's either or, right? I think whoever is on cornerback 2 needs to dominate.
Absolutely.
Now, that's not to say you can't score on Jair Alexander. You can't. It's not to say you can't get passes on Jair, but whoever's on quarterback 2's got to dominate. Excuse me. Their safeties are injured as well. So we just talked about how they don't use the middle of the field. They haven't used the middle of the field. You should use the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Their safeties and their middle linebackers are injured. That is a big, I think, open area there. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the running game is as good. So hopefully the running game continues to be like the run defense. Sorry. So I hope our running game continues to be productive and can carry on from last week. If I'm looking for a goal for the offense, I know every week we're saying we want Kenny to have his breakout game. We want Kenny to have his breakout game. I want Kenny to have his breakout game. I'm going to sound like a broken record. That's what I want to happen. Okay. I don't have a lot of faith in Kenny, but that's what I want to happen. I love for him to have 3 touchdowns. I love for him to have 300 yards. And I think he would need that to have the confidence going forward to play these tough divisional opponents. Confidence to continue to play well, not confidence that he needs to take a step back. You know what I mean? Because the week after, they're playing the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Their defense, we already know their defense is super good. It'd be nice for him to have some confidence that he can make some plays and score some points and use that to drive more points towards Cleveland than to be like, oh God, I suck, and now I'm playing a good defense and I still suck. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there. As far as their running game, Aaron Jones is very good, and our run defense has not been very good. I know I heard one media analyst being like, oh, the defense looks so great against the Titans, stopping Derrick Henry. And I was like, did they though? Because Derrick Henry didn't he have 100 yards rushing and a touchdown? And
against us? No.
Well, he's close though, wasn't he?
No.
Yeah, he was. Henry?
I think he had 64 yards.
Okay, well, look it up for me, please.
I'll fact check it.
Regardless, our running game is usually bad, but if he had a bad running game, that's because of this key ingredient that I was happy to have back would be Cam Hayward. So I know Aaron Jones is a good running back. He does well. He gets puts some big numbers, and Cam Hayward being back in the lineup can hopefully help stop that. But without Cole Holcomb, we'll see how this new linebacker core does. Chris, the yards, please.
17 carries for 75 yards.
Okay, so not as good as I thought, but still. That's good though, because it shows that like what I was saying worked out for us with Cam Hayward being there, but with no Cole Holcomb, we'll say that works. But I think the running game's a big point of emphasis. Jordan Love has been kind of struggling this year, to be honest. He does take chances. He's an aggressive quarterback, so it's not to say that he can't score or throw it deep. He will. He just hasn't been very, very accurate. But hopefully we've got some things cooking right now, because maybe even though Minka might still be out, I liked that they've been playing Patrick Peterson in more of a safety role. That's been nice. Levi actually had some decent plays last game, but obviously CB1 right now, JPJ is playing lights out. And sure, he had some penalties last week, but I think some of them were kind of because that crew throws a lot of flags, to be honest. And I expect JPJ to shut down whoever he's on. And this might bite me in the butt, but I don't think Green Bay's receivers are that good. They got Christian Watson, they got Romeo Dobbs. They're not terrible athletes, but they're definitely no studs on that team receiver-wise, in my opinion. Yeah. They got a rookie tight end. Well, we've been doing pretty good covering the tight ends this year so far. So,
you mean Tucker Kraft, the rookie tight end out of South Dakota State University?
No. I'm talking about Luke Musgrave.
No one cares about Luke Musgrave.
They have 2 rookie tight ends?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well, I was talking about Luke Musgrave, but yes, Tucker, whatever his name is, too, from SDSU.
Tucker Kraft.
Sure. I think they win this game, hopefully. The Steelers have not won a game by more than 8 points since 2020. I would really like them to win this game by like 14, if not more.
Did you say 40?
Yeah, sure. I said 14, but I would love that. But I said or more, so 40 includes that as well.
Yes, it does.
I am going to pick them to win, though, for this week. And then we'll see how that goes. We'll be back next week. I think the frustrations that if you guys have been listening to our podcast the past couple episodes about this team and the offense and the way they're coached, those frustrations are still there for me. I'm kind of subduing them because I'm tired of talking about the same frustrations every week. Those frustrations are still there. It's nice that they won, but that doesn't absolve them of anything, and it doesn't give me confidence moving forward. But they need to start stacking things, and they need to start playing better. I think there are things that are heading in the right direction that might change my mind. I think Canada called some good games the past couple weeks. I think the running game was really good last week with Broderick Jones in there. I like JPJ in there. I think the passing defense is getting a little bit better. If these things progress that way continuously, I think you'll hear us get a little more excited, a little more pep in our step as we do these podcasts.
They got to earn it.
Yeah, we have to earn it. That's exactly right. So with that being said, let's when we do our game picks and wrap this baby up, huh?
Let's do it.
Gotta look up the NFL. There's a really fun slew of games this week. Super good.
Do it. I have it right here if you want me to do it.
No, I got it.
Come on, we can switch it up.
Nah. Super fun games. Except there's only one good game this week, and I'll tell you which one it is. Okay. It's this one. No, it's not. Panthers at Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, I'm going Bears too. Justin Fields isn't playing. I don't know.
Which should be the reason to not pick them, but
this is a coin toss.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think the Panthers could win this game. They both suck. It's the fight for picks number 1 and 2, which the Bears own both, so it doesn't matter. Colts at Panthers in Germany. Oh, sorry, Patriots. Colts at Patriots in Germany.
There you go. I'm going to say Colts.
I'm going to say Patriots. Germany and Patriots just kind of feels right to me.
I mean, maybe if this was the last 20 years, then yeah, sure. But
I don't know. I got a feeling that's like an upset game. Patriots are 2-7. They're looking like dog water, but I got a feeling they can win that game.
Yeah, they're the last Reich.
Huh?
What?
What'd you say? The last Reich?
Yeah.
That's the Panther joke. Because their coach is Frank Reich.
Yeah.
Best game of the week, only good game of the week. Browns at Ravens.
That's not the best game of the week I thought you were going to say, but it is a really, really good game and probably is the best game of the week. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I hope it's an absolute rout like the last time they played. I hope the Ravens win. Packers at us.
Us. Go Steelers.
Yeah, big Steelers. I guess you're probably talking about this one. This is a good game too, but I don't know. I'm not as excited about it, I guess, for some reason. But it's 49ers at Jaguars.
Also not the game that I was talking about.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I am going to go 49ers weirdly. I don't know.
I am too. I'm going 49ers. They've lost 3 in a row. I think they have to get back on track. I think they had a bye week last week. They got to get back in the win column. They got Deebo Samuel back. And they're taking a page out of the Steelers handbook, and they're putting their defensive coordinator on the sidelines because their defense has been stuck in the past 3 weeks. So now they're doing the Matt Canada effect and putting the defensive coordinator on the sidelines as well. But I'm going 49ers there. And you got Saints against Vikings with the legend Josh Dobbs.
It's the game of the week. No, I'm just joking, but I am going to be at that game. And I'm going to go with the legend himself, Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the slobby dobby. What did someone... I saw this is a little off tangent, but I saw a TikTok and someone was like, how the F did the Vikings beat the Falcons? And it was like that robot voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a bunch of jokes in there. But they said the Vikings employed Lil Bill at quarterback and they
Oh, no. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it was very funny. But he was giving us flowers too, though. Bengals at Texans.
That's my game of the week.
No way.
I mean, think about it. The Bengals are kind of red hot. And if the Texans continue on, like CJ Stroud just had the best game of his 8-game career.
He had the best game of a quarterback this season. Any quarterback.
Yeah. This could be a really good game.
It could be, especially because I just found out that the Bengals wide receivers might miss this game. Both of them, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, are both dealing with an injury.
Interesting.
Jamar Chase sounds like he will probably suit up, but they might be without T. Higgins, which is fine. They have Tyler Boyd. But if they miss both of them, that could get really interesting. I would love for the Texans to win this game, but I just don't think they will.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm going to pick the Bengals, but go Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Bengals. The funny thing enough, if the Texans win this game, I spent the summer waiting for the football season to come back, watching, this is so lame, you guys. I spent the summer watching people do Madden simulations of the upcoming NFL season. And I watched 2 separate simulations of the season on Madden, and both times the Steelers would start out hot and they lose to the Texans. in both simulations. And by the end of the year, the Texans would make the playoffs because they'd have the tiebreaker beat over the Steelers. And that's kind of like what's happening in real life. So if the Texans beat the Bengals, I'm going to be like, oh man, the Texans are going to get hot and they're going to have the tiebreaker beat over the Steelers. It's going to be really sad.
It would be really sad.
Titans at Bucks.
I'm going to say Titans.
Oh, wow. Is that what you did with our parents' picks too?
Yeah, it is.
Let's go. That's what I did. Titans at Bucks. I'm picking Titans. Dude, Will Levis played a great game.
He's really played 2 great games back to back. I mean,
I know they only scored 16 points, but he played a great game. And I expect him to that. I mean, the Buccaneers almost won last week. Baker Mayfield, they played the Texans. Baker Mayfield scored a touchdown with like a minute left to go up ahead and try to win. And CJ Stroud is just him. So, unfortunately, they didn't get that. So the Buccaneers aren't bad by any means, but I don't know. I just got a feeling that like the Titans they feel in this mojo. They might turn it around here and win these games. So
I agree. I think they could be a scary team late if they can make the playoffs.
Could be. I'm more scared of the Texans, but yeah. Lions at Chargers.
I did say Lions for this one.
I did too, but the way you paused is how I feel about it. Yeah. I feel like it could go either way. I feel like the Chargers had a really good game last week. The thing with Chargers, and this is historical, you can't trust the Chargers, whether in San Diego or in LA. You can't trust them to pull out wins. They have no home field advantage, so it's hard to pick them at home because no one goes to their games in LA. No one cares about them.
True. But that's why we're going next year.
Yeah, probably. And then the Lions are coming off a bye week, so that's kind of why I went with them. So. Sure. But I could see the Chargers winning that game. It's kind of a coin flip for me. Falcons at Cardinals.
People are probably going to be like, Kyler Murray's back. Well, you know what else is out? The new Modern Warfare. So I'm going to pick against the Cardinals. Yeah, I'm not the Cardinals. I was about to say, I don't even remember who the other team is that you just said. But yeah, I'm definitely not the Cardinals.
You said... People are going to be like, oh, Kyler Murray's back. I'm one of those people. I'm picking.
Don't be that person.
I'm picking the Cardinals, baby. And here's why. Now, because, Kyler Murray's back. That doesn't really move me as much. I think what moves me more is that Arthur Smith is a tragedy to the NFL and should be arrested because of how bad of a coach he is.
That's true.
He's got Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts, and he doesn't use them at all. So I think the Falcons blow games. I mean, they lost to Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs didn't have practice last week. He's taken snap practices on the sidelines of the Vikings game and then came back and beat them. He didn't even know his receivers' names.
Yeah.
He just said, you, number 4, run this route, and threw a dime to him. I mean, they suck. I'm going, Cardinals suck too, but I'm going to go Cardinals because I think the Falcons are on a downward spiral of mediocrity right now. Speaking of mediocrity, we got the Giants versus the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Giants lost Daniel Jones for the year. They're gonna have Tyrod Taylor playing, but I guess he's hurt because they announced that Danny DeVito's son, Tommy DeVito, he's playing the rest of he's playing this game. So yeah, Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys should be the Eagles last week, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders at Seahawks.
Seahawks?
Yeah, I guess. I don't think Seattle's that good of a team. I think they're kind of a fraud 5-2 or whatever they are, 5-3, kind of like us. Commanders are so up and down, up and down, up and down. It's hard to pick them what games are going to win, but I'm going to go Seattle as well. This is my hardest game to pick. The Sunday night game, Jets at Raiders.
Raiders. Why is that hard?
I'll tell you why it's hard. I am also picking the Raiders. But it was hard for me to do because even though the new coach got the Raiders team fired up, and I think they're playing harder for him, they are starting Aiden O'Connell, the rookie quarterback, right? And the Jets defense is really good. So I can see the Jets defense just stuffing them and then making it really tough for the Raiders to score points. And can the Jets score 9 points to win the game? The Jets defense holds them to 6. I think they can. But I'm also going Raiders as well. But to me, it's a it's a coin toss because the Jets defense could really shut down Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders offense.
Fair.
So And then the last game with this ugly slate of games is Broncos at Bills.
Bills.
Correct, Bills. If the Bills lose this game, press the Mayday button, press the panic button. It's all going downhill from there. That is the Northern Steel Podcast episode this week. My name is Dominic. This is Chris. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on OnlyFans, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Patreon, on Grinder, on Pizza Hut Juniors, on Weenie Hut Juniors, and League of Legends. Chris, you have anything left to say? Hold on, folks. Stand by.
Go Steelers.
Oh, what a
Weren't expecting
surprise.
that, huh?
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
Peace.